Naira, the Folly of Nagakhêdi. Tier 2 walkthrough.
You can tackle this boss a couple of different ways. Like almost any boss fight, the boss should be fully debuffed by 8 seconds, and that's when Banner, To Arms, and Oathbreaker should be used for the first big nuke. When Badharál's young spawn, make sure one of your tanks grab them and face them away from the group because they do frontal damage. If the group stands too close to Badharál's young, they are able to use their Savage Blows attack, which do frontal damage as well. This is the case even if the tank has aggro. Being in melee range of them, 6 meters to be exact, will make them turn around and attack the group. It can ease group damage taken if you have ranged people and those not doing AoE stand on, for example, the left hind leg, melee DPSers on the right hind leg, and tanks in front at the pincers, effectively making a triangle. If they cast their yellow induction, it means someone other than the tank was in melee range of them. It's worth interrupting their induction to reduce damage to the group. Throughout the fight, an Unnerving Weaver will be roaming around. If it gets close to you, you will get feared. The fear can safely be cleansed with a fear potion or from someone else using a group cleanse, assuming they are not feared themselves. For style points, if you have a minstrel, they can cast Fellowship's Heart to avoid the group getting feared. The same goes for Yellow Hunter, who can cast Horn of Orome. They will give you immunity for 10 seconds. Make sure to cast it before the Unnerving Weaver gets close. A random player will be targeted with the effect Spider's Gift. This needs to be cleansed quickly. It has to be cleansed a total of 6 times before it's gone. This makes it very handy to have a Room Keeper because they are able to remove 3 tiers of an effect. If you do not remove all tiers before the effect expires, the player will take severe damage. You have 8 seconds to cleanse the initial application of the effect, and only 4 seconds for each subsequent tier. Furthermore, if the effect is not cleansed, Badharál's Swarm will spawn. The Swarm deals random damage and will debuff a random player within melee range, giving them minus 15% mitigations for 45 seconds. The Swarm cannot be tanked. In short, the goal is to cleanse quickly unless you want to make it more difficult. Once the Plump Egg Sac turns green, our ranged DPSers turn to kill them. If they are not killed within 45 seconds, they will hatch and plump spiderlings will spawn. The spiderlings will heal the boss. Instead of killing the Plump Egg Sacs, you can also choose to completely ignore them. Instead, you debuff the boss with minus incoming healing effects from, say, a Burglar, Captain, and Room Keeper. We ignore the Blighted Egg Sacs and Venomous Egg Sacs altogether. When the Blighted Egg Sacs hatch, blighted spiderlings will spawn. One of your tanks needs to grab aggro of them. They don't pose much threat until they are about to die. When they reach 20% health, they will begin a 4 seconds gray induction that cannot be interrupted with CC. Once the induction finishes, the spiderling explodes and a puddle will spawn in its place for 2 minutes. To avoid any puddles spawning on the group, it's a good idea to have the off-tank drag them slightly away when they are nearing low health. When the Venomous Egg Sacs hatch, Venomous Spiderlings spawn. They shouldn't pose any threat if a tank has aggro of them. If someone other than the tank is within melee range, they are likely to turn around and hit this player, dealing damage to them and applying a minus 15% mitigation debuff to them for 45 seconds. Similar to the Swarm from Spider's Gift. Killing a lot of her spiderlings will enrage her, giving her the effect called Fury of the Mother, which gives her ×5 outgoing damage. I'm not certain how many of them you can kill before the boss gets this effect. This might prove an issue if your DPS is low. Like all bosses in this raid, this boss also has a tank buster skill. The effect for this boss is called Growing Corrosion. Every 45 seconds, the tank holding aggro will get a tier of Growing Corrosion. The effect lasts for 45 seconds. Tier 1 is harmless, giving only -5 mitigation. Tier 2 gives -10 mitigation, and every subsequent tier will add another 10%, capping out at Tier 5 for -50% mitigation. You can manage this debuff one of 2 ways. The first way is to simply tank swap on a tier you deem reasonable. The second way is to have the same tank hold aggro of the boss. However, when they notice their Growing Corrosion effect nearing expiration, they move away from the boss so she cannot reach them. She won't follow because she is stationary. The tank then waits out of range for the growing corrosion effect to completely disappear, and then they come back close again. Another noticeable effect on tanks are the Spider's Kiss, also from the boss. This effect lasts 6 seconds and will do 20% of your tank's health every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. Occasionally, the boss will turn around and damage the group with savage pincers, despite the tank holding aggro. Her yellow induction cast, Horrid Venom, should be interrupted to avoid AoE damage on a random player in the group. That's all for now. Best of luck to you and your group.